So welcome to the analysis mapping tutorial. This is a very powerful tool, allows us to keep track of all of our different projects and analyses and versions of those analyses, and maybe make our favorites so that we can quickly move between them and we can edit that. So it's a particular implementation that is trying to solve the problem of how do we organize everything when we're in virtual reality. So we're using a sort of folder type structure with subfolders, and the idea is to just make that fairly easy to navigate and to create and sustain over time, maintain it. So here we see a diagram that's trying to explain in this image, and then we'll take a look at the actual mapping that you have and you could look at your tutorial on projects, analyses, mapping to get a better fix on that. So I'm going to assume you've already looked at that tutorial. You have your My Projects folder, under which you have Project 1 and Project 2 and any other number of projects, whatever they're called. We're just calling them 1 and 2 here. And each project has an analysis mapping associated with it. And so it's one mapping per project. One project has one mapping. And so each project has a different mapping. So in Project 1, there are a number of what we call saves or analysis versions. And here we see analysis version 1. This one should be version 2, version 3. Here we see phenomena 0, phenomena 1, topic 2, topic 4. These are bits left over from different work that we've been doing on different versions of different phenomena or topics or ideas or analysis we're working on. So these are the analysis in the saves folder. And what we can do is we could decide which one of these we want to be put on the mapping. So for example, here we put analysis version 2 onto the mapping, but not the others. And here we put phenomena of 1, because those are the two we really want to go forward with, and we might discard or delete the older versions at some point. So the analysis mapping tool is taking particular analysis versions, and it's going to be hopefully an easy interface for you to drag and drop them onto the mapping, and drag them off the mapping, and rearrange them on the mapping as you are maintaining your project. If you go to a new project, you get a new mapping. The important thing to remember is under My Projects, you can add any analysis in any project to the mapping in that one project. So it allows you to jump over to other projects they're not completely separate. But in that new project, you will have a new mapping, so you would have to add some from the other project onto that new mapping to be able to jump back. But there is some history trace of things that you've already been, and you can select them directly. So hopefully you get the idea. It's a powerful tool for having favorite analysis versions across your projects in My Projects. So I'll just put that to the side, and now we'll take a look at the analysis mapping tool, which you'll see is on the File button, and then you choose Analysis Mapping. And then you get this very nice mapping with a number of icons for each of your analysis versions. You can tell at the top here with the title, you're in Help 2. Help 2 is the current project. Down here, current, it says Help 2 Analysis Mapping, and this is one specially created to work on this volcap. You won't find this in the Lego demo project help files. So here you see the analysis mapping volcap number 2. That's the current one we're selected in. And over here we see a list of current projects that are available under My Projects and the different analyses in each one of them. So if I look at Help 3, we'll see a different set from Help creating projects. So Help 2, we're currently in this one, of which there are 3 different versions. And we're currently in number 2, but we could go back and look at earlier ones. You get a little icon thumbnail, which gives you some idea what's in there. You can see there is a difference between the 000 and the next ones. It gives you some idea, and here, given this is all to do with help, then we'll see these thumbnails are all pretty similar. If we went to the Lego demo, for example, we might find, they're pretty much the same. So we're in Help 2, Analysis Mapping Volcap. And then we see selected. That will be the one that we select. For example, I could click here and then we'll see that selected. I could click on this one and we see that one is selected. That means I could load that one now. I'm not going to jump out of this because then I'll go into VR and I'll have to get back out again. With the volcap, it won't work as we jump around, so I can't do that when we're volcapping. But of course, I could do it if I wished, if I was doing some normal work with AVA360VR. So we can choose another one like this one here, and then you see it's added here. We can choose that. So whichever is a lighter blue color, sky blue, that will appear here. And we can select on the mapping or select on the versions here. So for example, we wanted to look at help and we wanted to look at drawing. We see there's drawing. If I select that, I could jump straight there. So now it means you can navigate through all your projects, look at all your analyses and all the versions, gradually narrowing down. And then you could add or maneuver them on your mapping. So let's just try that. We'll go back to help 2. We'll see this is the one. And let's say I wanted to add this one to our mapping. And I'm going to add it here just to see what happens. And then maybe we can move it and delete it. So if you, with the trigger, point at it and grab, you can drag it over and then drop it. You see it's a little bit, it raises up and then it drops. When you select them, they're sticky, they don't move. So if you select and then pull, then they pull off and then you can move them somewhere else. We can overlay them if we wish, like this. So one is on top of the other like this, and we can stack them. Let's just put it here for now and you can see it's selected. If you want to get rid of it, you can just drag it off, usually over to here, and just let go, and it will disappear from the mapping and it's just incorporated back. So there we are, it's on here and it's off. We could do that with any of the others as well, drag them and move them about as we wish, for example, to here, back to here. So that's in the same project, but we could also, as we see here, this is a different project, Help 3, and this is another project, Help. We could, for example, take Lego Demo 1, grab that and put it over here, and now we have another project, all of them under My Projects. So currently we're in Help 2. We're in Help 2, you can see here. So we get some idea of the range of favorite analysis versions across all of our projects. And then we can jump between them very, very quickly without having to exit and reload and find it. Everything can be done from within AVA360VR and move between all your projects and analyses and their versions. What we can also do is let's see, we've got a number of these different projects here. We could look at history, unfortunately, because we haven't loaded a project. We have no history, but if there was, you would see every single analysis version that you've already loaded listed here, going back chronologically in time. And if you click here, you would then load that one. So if you forgot where you were because you were jumping around in different projects, in different analyses and their versions, then you will find the list here and you can click on one of them and then load. So every time you do that, you'll get a new current, and maybe you'll also change your project up here. This is the current project Help 2. So if we did load right now, then we would, for example, this is Lego Demo project, which is completely different. We would jump in there and we would have a new analysis mapping. So remember that on this diagram here. This is the project level here on the left. This is the analysis saves, the save files is these analyses, and then the version numbering is here, which will be listed here, and we see there are 3 different versions. So it allows us to jump and move around. What we can't do is we can't clone these as we can in the main menu. We can't delete them. All we can do is take what we have and then put them as favorites. So it's very powerful for being able to maneuver and navigate through all of your different analysis versions. And as you, for example, start developing and having a particular favorite that you might start cloning and then adding new analysis versions to it, then you can drop that into the board and remove the old one. If you do delete some of the older ones, they will just vanish from the board anyway, because every time you open the mapping, it scans all of your projects to find out what analysis versions you have. So if they've disappeared, they simply won't be shown and they'll disappear from the board. So, very powerful tool for navigation, and you should give it a try. What we've done here is show you a very, very complex example with at least 6 projects with maybe from 10 to 15 different analyses, usually with only one version. And most of these have only one version. The final one we've included with our demo package. But this shows the power of being able to jump around different help projects, and Lego demo project with also problems and how to create projects. You can jump between all of these without ever leaving AVA360VR.